Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Night of Misfortune, joined by Spiff. How are you doing, Spiff? I already asked you, but maybe somebody new joined us.
Doing all right. We had some really good games earlier, and I'm looking forward to a few more.
How's the coffee? Are you energized and ready for another crazy match?
Well, it's not absorbing quite as quickly as
Oh,
when I mainline it, so it's going to take a moment. But
okay,
I'll
okay.
be feeling the jitters pretty soon.
You know what? What I try to do for that, I just set up an IV. I have one for when we need a Russian keg, aka a vodka keg. All right. Anyway, besides that, we have a kind of a crazy matchup, which in every regard is the opposite of what we just saw a few minutes ago or an hour ago between Osmos and Iron. So here we have Hope and MauganRa. What are your first thoughts on this matchup?
Hope has been pretty dominant in the last few tournaments that I've seen play. Um, so I think my vote would have to go to Hope, but I know that MauganRa is also a very strong player. Put in some strong showings at the recent tournaments as well. So you never know. MauganRa might find that lucky combination today and manage to take the win. But I think we're probably going to see Hope putting the beat down on.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that statement. MauganRa, of course, was dominating in the early year, and he's been pretty consistent ever since, but had a hard time finding any resound success like he did in the Serpents Open winter. And Hope has just been a very steady player who hasn't taken many first places, but he was always number two or number three, always in the top four at the very least. And so we have our number one seed and number two seed in the SCS rankings, one and two, crazy high amount of points. The win percentage is actually very, very close, 71% and 72 for Hope. That is absolutely crazy. I think it's closer than I thought it would be, but definitely not the realm of possibility or believability, I guess, if that's a word. Both of these players have won the league. So we have our league season one champion versus league season three champion. And both of these players have already qualified for the SCS Invitational. So this is basically semantics for these two players. They want to show who is better. Hope wants to continue to solidify his position as one of the best players in this game. And MauganRa wants to beat out that Cybern he's been struggling against pretty much all of his career and prove that he can compete with the top of the top. Excuse me, that crept up on me out of nowhere. So the map pool is also very much the opposite of what we've seen in our first match of the day. We have Settons Clutch as our map number one and Shiva Prime as our map number two. Could not get more different than our basically what are they called? Common maps from our Osmos versus Iron Commander game. What do you think about these maps, Biff?
Big maps, which means that there are a lot of options. We could still see some quick games if one or the other player decides to, rush and push pretty
Mm-hmm.
hard. We could also see some longer games with a lot more back and forth. So it's really all up in the air. We don't know what we're going to see here, and to me, that's my favorite type of game. I mean, a map like Desolatia that we saw before, it's going to be really uncommon to see certain strategies. But
Mm-hmm.
with these big open maps, anything's possible.
Anything is possible indeed, especially if both players go air. It can be a crapshoot in the air. So that is going to be a very interesting game. Of course, Hope picked his Cybran Crown faction, the one that he's well known for, and is very scary to go up against. And MauganRa has been very interestingly picking UEF here. So we have two Cybran versus UEF matchups. And I don't know. I haven't seen too much UEF winning, especially against the top players, even within the top circle. So this will be interesting. Of course, on the surface of it, air maps do seem to favor UEF a little bit more. Of course, I think that's the initial assumption players have, but in reality, at the top of the players that we have here, they can show very interesting and very evolved play with Cybran or Aeon. So UEF has a bit more difficulty catching up because
Well,
of their unilateral fighters.
and I think that the conventional wisdom is that UEF is always going to win air because they have those fighters. But I think that's a lot truer in team games than it is in 1v1s.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the
Yeah.
1v1, the additional utility of the fighter bombers makes their versatility makes them a little bit more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So while UEF can win air, it's harder for UEF to do something that actually kills stuff on the ground once they have one.
Yeah, and it is the common belief amongst the top players that UEF is actually the strongest. It's just the hardest to master in that way. But so far, we haven't been really seeing that. UEF has been very behind on almost every map in terms of their win percentage, and in terms of overall win percentage, of course, it is they are struggling as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what MauganRa has prepared. He clearly picked this for a reason, so we will see. Before we go for a short break to set up the game, Spiff, what are your predictions for the result?
I think we're going to see two longer games, or maybe mid-length games that have some good back and forth, but ultimately I think Hope is going to win out.
2-0, 2-1.
2-0, but they're going to be close games.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna, just for the sake of variety, I'm gonna say Hope 2-1. It's gonna go to Powderhorn Mesa, and then he's gonna pull some crazy micro shenanigans that he does with Cybran, and yeah, that's my prediction right there. Hope versus MauganRa here in a couple of minutes. It might be a little longer than 2. Semifinal of the SCS League Season 3 playoff. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to semifinal number 1 of the SCS Season 3 playoff. I'm joined by Spiff. Would you like to introduce our first player?
All right. Well, down here on the south side of the map, spawning in as the red Cybran commander, we have Hope. Starting off with a quick air factory and immediately assisting with the commander to get a quick scout off or build up an early advantage there. What's going on the other side of the map?
On the other side, we see pretty much the exact same opening, but we have our blue UEF commander with the name of MauganRa. He's also prioritized that scout, actually, getting that out, and it looks like they are going to meet in the center of the map. I think
Hope just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, just maybe he didn't assist fast enough for MauganRa. MauganRa actually stopping, which is a very smart decision. Going to go back and try to pick off that scout. And I think both of these players are trying to just make sure that their opponent is not doing anything too crazy and make sure that they can play a standard game, and that's what it is looking at right now. Scout does go down, and MauganRa plops down a second air factory. I think that is so far the correct decision from both players here. Interestingly, Hope, though, is going down here to the bottom of the map. What do you think he's planning to do down there?
I think this is just an economic move. Expand as much as possible, grab a bunch of mass extractors, grab territory, and hope to catch up.
I see what you did there. What do you think about this move from MauganRa's ACU, though? This is interesting.
I'm wondering if Hope expected that, and that's part of the reason he pulled his commander back. But at the same time, there's no engineers or anything up there, and right now, no scouting information, so I don't know if Hope knows this is coming right now.
Yeah, there's no planes. He's just plopping down his radar. And let's see. MauganRa, I think, scouted the fact that Hope's ACU is down there. So this is very interesting. I'm not sure what Hope is doing. There's no research stations. And like I mentioned in our first semifinal, or I guess the second one, normally players open up with at least 2 of those key structures, even when they're expanding. So it's quite interesting to see what Hope is saving for. There's only 3 planes out. Is he building more? He's not. He's pausing production. What is happening here? Let's see if
It's
MauganRa...
back on now.
Oh, it is?
Production's back on now there.
Okay. Let's see if MauganRa realizes that there isn't as much air as he's expecting and switches to bombers. I think that's one of the key things you can do. There's a PD. Wow, that's a lot of PDs being built. What is happening in this game? Oh, I wonder if that was meant to be an anti-air. That's probably it. He doesn't finish the anti-air tower. Oh, he's leaving it for the engineer and bringing his commander back because he sees MauganRa pushing up. MauganRa is actually building a forward factory. That's actually a very smart decision. Maybe he will start MML production?
Hope does throw down a land factory, but might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Well, I think at this point, a reasonable response would be to go those adapters and try to catch up to air. And then also that will counteract the mobile missile launchers, which are sure to come out. We see a missile launcher on the air factory for Hope.
And MMLs start rolling off the line as well.
Brackman coming out now? I don't... Is that a good counter to mobile missile launchers?
It does have better range.
But I feel like Loyalist would just zone better. I don't know.
I think the thinking here is that the forward factory is close enough that if MauganRa throws down a point defense, then Loyalists aren't going to be able to get close enough to the mobile missile launchers.
I think MauganRa done goofed over here. Oh, shield coming up. That's actually a good thing here. I think he might have overextended. Such an interesting game. In terms of expansions, I think they're pretty equal right now. Maybe Hope is a little bit in front, but MauganRa certainly with his opening is still doing a good job keeping up with the mass.
I think even though they're about even on mass points, I would put Hope ahead just because he had more mass earlier. So those extractors will have vetted up a little bit.
And look, so many land factories have gone down for Hope. I think MauganRa is now struggling to produce. He can't even afford that point defense as of yet.
Because he's got these air factories still pumping out wasps that have not really that much to shoot.
Yeah, I think that may be a mistake here considering that Hope only has 5 planes, and I think Hope is trying to deceive his opponent here with a very, very smart and cheeky play to he's just barely producing planes, so MauganRa keeps seeing them, but I don't think he's seeing he's not producing them as much as he would want to when he's spamming.
And there's the sea factory coming down for Hope, so we might see some walking ships maybe?
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I think it's ultimately going to come down to what happens here in the center, though. And Hope is beginning to have such a strong position. MauganRa just hasn't been producing anything. We also see Navy for MauganRa come out, though. And how does that scout get past? That should not be happening. Maybe down the sides, but it should not get past down the center.
What is MauganRa's ACU doing moving up the coastline here underwater?
You know,
maybe thinking to capture that sea factory?
I don't think so. I think he realized that he has lost his position. And ultimately, I think this game, I think, because he's produced too many wasps, he doesn't really have any... Though he did manage to sneak by a couple of MMLs, so that's good. I don't think they're going to get a whole lot done here, though.
Well, he stopped them. See, that's the problem, is they stopped.
Oh.
If they had kept moving, then they might have been able to do some more damage.
And the planes, too. What is happening here? Is he upgrading his commander or something? Maybe he is wanting to. He probably does want to capture it. There's a point defense being built. There's now 2 over there.
And there's the capture coming in. Or is that a... Yeah, that's a capture.
That's a capture, but it's very slow, and it's not going to come out in time before that ship pops out. MauganRa is in trouble over there on the bottom. Oh, Control
What?
K? Well, that was...
I'm not the only one that saw that,
Yeah,
right?
MauganRa just flung. That must be a new upgrade I don't know about. Uh,
Geez, even after 10 years, we're still finding out new things about this game.
yeah. And the interesting thing here is, well, I guess the factory flinging was pretty interesting as well. But Hope's mass production is so good that he has managed to, in the time that he's lost one, plop down 3 more naval factories.
And MauganRa's ACU is in trouble. These ships are just chasing him down. And he probably has enough health to get out of the water in time, but it's going to be close, and then he's going to have land units to deal with.
Yeah. This is a very slow dev for our UEF commander. Unfortunately, I think MauganRa just did not optimize the build enough. I think if he had that point defense a little bit sooner, he could have held that position a little bit better early on. And he definitely needed more land factories up there to contest. Hope did a very good job bringing his commander back. I don't know if that was intended to be a fake or he just decided that in the moment.
I think it was just a matter of prioritizing his economy.
Yep, and MauganRa does end up going down in game 1. Not a very long game. I mean, 11 minutes, but for Settons Clutch, I don't think that was very long at all. Again, decided with that one push, very similar to what we saw in that old match between Little Row and MauganRa. But that was indeed an interesting match. I think what Hope did is worthy of analysis. He did a very, very interesting and smart thing there by pulling back his commander and stopping the air production periodically to fake his opponent out. But anyway, that is game 1. We are going to be breaking for just a little bit and coming back with match number 2. It's going to be on Shiva Prime. This is the best out of 3. Don't go anywhere. One more time, Spiff. What is it?
It's fine.
It's fine.
We're fine.
We're fine.
We're fine.
We're totally fine. And we're live. We're live with the second match between. Well, I'll leave the between for the introduction. Spiff, do you want to introduce the first player?
All right. Well, starting once again with the red player, but this time it's MauganRa spawning in as the red UEF commander here on Shiva, and throwing down a quick air factory. Once again, getting that quick scout out. And what's going on the other side of the map?
Man, these players are not making it easy with the colors. On the other side, the white Cybern commander, it is Hope, who is leading 1-0. He's opening up with 2 land factories. Gonna get scouted, though, by MauganRa here.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's all good. It's only tournament line or tournament life on the line. It's fine. I don't think we talked about this yet, but MauganRa picked Shiva, and this is Hope's map. From the tournament, we know that he prepped this map specifically. So it's very curious that MauganRa has chosen this map, knowing that Hope has a good cyber play on this map, and he's opening up air as UEF. What the heck is going on?
Maybe he's prepared a very specific counter strat.
You might be right. Look at this interesting play over here, bringing 1 bomber to probably try and take out these expanding engineers. That is actually not a half-bad strategy here. And switching to bombers right away, very, very good decision from MauganRa.
Well, this time it was a much easier decision because there's no air factory for Hope.
Yeah, exactly. And Hope is producing nothing but Brackman, and I think he's going to be counting on that megalith.
There's no research station, though.
Yeah, I don't think these bombers are going to take out this engineer in time. Even if they do, that second engineer is definitely going to finish that anti-air factory. MauganRa needs to retreat here. Nope, going up for another bombing run. Just not quick enough, and not even finishing that engineer. That is a very, very bad loss. Oh, no.
Oh, so close.
Oh, no.
And all the bombers went down. And he's going to lose his fighter as well.
Oh. That is
and
so bad.
This last bomber isn't going to do it either because
Nope.
Hope got the repair off.
That is pretty bad.
That's rough.
And at this point, I would almost stop air production because it's probably not going to do enough here.
Maybe like a few bombers just to keep the AA being built, but
a very strong start from Hope. Going to be expanding all over the map now and actually taking a different line from what we're used to. Actually expanding mainly to, what is it, this section? What do we call this section, Spiff?
oh, I don't recall. I'm sure it was something rude and bawdy.
And vulgar, yes. You called it the balls. This is the balls section.
Ah, yes, that's right. The balls, of course. How could I forget? Because they're so obviously balls.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of expanding over the arm. Now, it's interesting. What are those arms doing? Never mind. Okay, let's not get into that. It looks like there's going to be an artillery war here in the head region, though. Wait, what? Okay.
Let's just stop referring to this map anatomically.
Hey, you started it, dude. No, actually, technically, I started it, but you're the one that made it vulgar.
I'm ending it. You started it. I took it too far. Now I'm ending it.
Okay, all right. Moving on. Loyalists coming out slowly now from Hope. Oh my God! Somebody please clip that.
Yeah, Maugan continuing to pump out bombers, but not doing anything with them at the moment. Pushing forward, but kind of behind on the unit production.
Where's he pumping them out from?
We're not going to say. Okay. From factories, actually. That's what we're...
You know, expansion-wise, MauganRa is actually pretty close. In all honesty, he's expanded into different places, but I think they have roughly the same amount of expansions at this point. And MauganRa is saving his air, so I don't think Hope is aware. I don't think that radar reaches quite far enough.
You know, it might if he's got the radar upgrade, but we haven't seen any indication of what Hope's research is going into. And so, I have a feeling that he didn't get build cost, build time right at the beginning, which puts radar a little bit further away.
So what do you think they're both going for? Because clearly I think they're going for a little bit of research.
Well, neither one of them has built any actual research stations.
Mm-hmm.
We do see adapters coming out now for Hope.
So let me ask you this. Fatboy versus Megalith. What are your thoughts here?
On this map, I feel like Fatboys are usually going to come out on top. Just because of the choke pointy nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Cybran supports the Fatboy with a bomb bouncer or two, a couple of cicadas that can cycle on and off, then the Megaliths can come out on top. But if it's just Mega versus Fatboy, Fatboys win.
Yes, I definitely agree. But I also agree that endgame experimentals, Cybran would probably win that on this map as well. Now, the curious thing here, or not the curious, I guess, a very good thing for MauganRa here is that his composition actually counters these adapters very well. So one of two things I think needs to happen, and let's see what you think about that. One, either he has to push now before the Megalith comes out, or he just digs deep, gets the Fatboy, and pushes with that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's a little hard to tell which one he's going for, though, because on the one hand, he is building more energy generators. Yeah. On the other, he's also building more land factories. So, I don't know. We do finally see Hope making a move forward here.
Yeah, and I like this choke point from MauganRa a lot. I think he set this up with a purpose to try and close down this bridge, although he's moving his units back. That is actually not good. That's actually turns it into a worse position from him because he's pretty much creating a choke point for himself there. And I would really love to see him use his planes now, because there's definitely enough expansion from Hope to try and utilize them, or at least move them to try to put them into a position. You guys have heard me say, move your air plenty enough, so I'm not going to say it again, even though I just did.
Yeah, there are a couple of mass points he could pick off without too much effort.
All right, let's see. First volleys from those demolishers go, and they are going to connect here. Wow,
Ooh.
Hope's army, actually, that was a good size portion there. MauganRa needs to push here.
What was that? Five units got picked off in that volley.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't realize it, but MauganRa actually got P shields.
So he did, yeah.
All right, let's see this micro. Good micro from MauganRa. That's a lot of Brackman, though. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think both players are just going for the micro death ball composition.
Yeah. This might end with one lucky shot. MauganRa got a decent shot, but not game-ending here.
Still very close in terms of army size and composition.
Yeah, Hope now is transitioning into that megalith play. I think he's plopping down one research station. Oh, and MauganRa, I don't think Hope is realizing this. MauganRa is going to build a land factory over here. That's actually going to be pretty good for him. One mobile missile launcher down there will actually wreck house down there.
Yeah, it definitely would.
I don't think he realizes this. How large is... Do mass points even have radar? I know they have vision for sure, but...
They do not. I don't think they have radar, no. I think they just have vision.
Can he see that with his mass expansion? Maybe with the engineer, but with a mass? I don't think he can see that with a mass.
I'm not sure offhand.
Yeah, I don't remember. Finally moving his air. That is enough to snipe a air tower. Engagement on the bridge. Bombers coming in. MauganRa is doing well here, I think. Of course, again, this can end with one lucky shot from Hope. Let's see what he targets down here with his bombers. That's a great target. Takes out the anti-air tower in one shot, but the micro is not very well good here. He did not send his planes continuing down. Instead, sends them into the tower. That is not good. Hope responding with adapters, though.
Hope responding with all his adapters.
Well, now he splits
there he goes. He splits it. Okay.
Okay, I don't like this bomber split from MauganRa at all. That was very poor.
Yeah.
MauganRa's air control has been very, very lackluster here. Alright, but he's focusing on the main fight, which is more important, arguably.
He does also have these missile launchers wrecking shit in the corner.
Oh, did he finally get that? Nice. Nice, very nice. Okay, he needs like a tank in there too, though. Like, that engineer is going to slowly reclaim the mobile missile launchers. Alright, Hope's shields are actually down here. And MauganRa has enough shields to, I think, withstand the majority of these volleys. He should really be a little bit more adventurous with these units. Where's his commander, by the way? Okay, it's right there. I'm afraid for jump jets right now, actually.
I mean, where else can the research be going? Because we have... wow.
Whoa,
oh, no.
That was a big connection. Hope continues to build nothing but research stations. MauganRa, what are you doing? You gotta push. You just took out like half of his army. There you go. There you go. MauganRa making a comeback here. Very nice play. Very nice play from MauganRa. I do have to say.
Yeah, and Hope calls GG. That push was what MauganRa needed to take it to game 3.
Yeah, good game. I think nicely executed on the land portion and on the expansion portion. If he incorporated air into that play, it would have been even better, but very impressive. MauganRa pulls it back 1-1. We're going to go to Powderhorn Mesa. We're going to take a short break to allow the players to pick their factions, but we'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the very fine game. We are indeed fine because this is the tiebreaker map on Powderhorn Mesa. We don't see this map quite long or quite much enough. I'm joined by Spiff. Once again, would you like to do the player introductions for the last time for today?
All right. So, spawning over here on the right-hand side, coming in here as the purple UEF commander, we have MauganRa. And Maugan threw down his 4 starting mexes and then moved straight into some factories for the land, which is fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's perfectly
And
okay.
what's going on the other side of the map?
On the other side, we have another UEF commander. This one is with the color red, and of course his name is Hope. He's also plopping down 2 land factories and starting to move towards that bottom expansion, but both of these players are moving towards the center to meet each other. So
It's fine. They're both fine.
It's fine. So what is the game plan on this map, Spiff, in terms of UEF versus UEF?
I think it's probably just get up in each other's faces. UEF has access to tanks and MMLs right away. Pretty quick path to demolishers. So basically just start making land units and push to the center. Although I do think that Hope is thinking to take the center by means of the south.
Yeah, I think so. He's not really sending... Oh, well, now he's sending an engineer back to the rear. But MauganRa is expanding with both his engineers to the back. And I actually quite like, I think, more what Hope is doing, because ultimately those 2 engineers that MauganRa is sending to the back will end up at the same place. Oh, wait, no, actually he's queuing up the rear ones with just 1 engineer, so that's good.
I'm wondering how his building placement is going to affect the engagements that we see, because usually you see the 2 players butting heads and not really having a chance to get around to the side flanks as easily. But Hope's front line is going to be spread out along the edge of this circle in the middle instead of directly into it. So there's going to be more areas where MauganRa might be able to flank and find an opening.
Yes, indeed. But I don't think he... Well, he probably realizes it. I think he's going to want to try and play the safe and maybe go for those experimentals. But it's too early to tell right now. Both players going for those demolishers, however. I think I like MauganRa's a bit better. No, actually, their composition is exactly the same. Holy crap. What? That's crazy.
Well, I think it's just like I said. You have access to these units early enough, and it makes for a good composition to just wreck anything on the ground.
Yeah, I agree. I think if these players weren't pushing right now, I would say demolishers would be better long term. But it looks like both of them are pushing. Hope is actually going to bring his commander forward. Nice ground fire there. Oh no, MauganRa, don't walk into it. Okay. That's such a clever play. Like, you just feel how these players are just amazing. He's firing those demolishers out of screen of MauganRa so he doesn't see them, and preemptively hoping that he walks in. It's just little things like that that really do matter.
Yeah, ground fire can be incredibly useful. Yeah, especially, it's one of the harder counter micros. If your opponent is good at weaving in and out of that demolisher fire, then you can separate your demolishers into 2 groups and ground fire so that either way that they go, they're going to run into it. But it's very difficult to do when you're also managing your economy.
Yeah, for sure. And now I'm starting to favor more and more demolishers because clearly both of these pushes have failed a little bit. MauganRa's shot connecting a little bit. That's the first connecting shot I think we've seen, and Hopes returns it.
Neither shot doing a ton of damage, though.
Yeah, just 1 shell connecting, not a big deal. And I don't know about you, Spib, but those shots from the demolishers remind me of the Jericho missile from Iron Man. The way they split. Oh no, they split at the end.
They do split at the end. I have not seen Iron Man though, so.
Oh man, that's a sin. I don't
I'm
know.
sorry.
I don't know if we can keep casting, guys. I think we gotta break this cast early.
Yeah, we'll be back in like an hour and a half so that I can watch Iron Man, and then I'll understand the references. We're just gonna pause this game and make the players wait while I go watch Iron Man.
Well, Twitch now supports Amazon watch parties, so we could technically watch it on there. If you'd like to watch Iron Man as a watch party after this cast, please say so in chat. I might actually do it because I'm a bit hungover and I just want to watch TV after this. All right, there's nothing new happening here. It looks like both of these players are just trying to poke and prod at each other. MauganRa is actually ahead on production, though. And I would say ahead on mass production as well, maybe a little bit. What is Hope building here? Is he just prioritizing more mass points?
It looks like it.
Yeah, I like MauganRa's expansion a little bit better. You know, what
I
do you...
don't know. I mean, I think that Hope's ultimately is easier to defend because it's more compact. The fact that he's got these, the 4 starting mixes of that other spawn makes them a lot easier to defend.
What do you think about plopping down 1 air factory right now? Or is it a bit too early?
I don't know. I think I think because Hope is currently behind in number of factories, I think prioritizing the factories would be better now, or the land factories. Otherwise, he's going to get run over on the ground.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's just a little too early for that kind of thing. You really want to enter that mid game either decisively or, enter the late game before you go into that. And I do want to say that, throughout this year that I've been doing the SCS, I feel like players have been evolving so much. I feel like they're doing little things more, and like players even like Hope are just improving a little bit. Even that ground fire that you're seeing him do, he definitely did that before, but he didn't do it, just one shot at a time. He would like queue it up and it would continuously bombard that area. But what he's doing now is he's just selecting a single shot to fire in a single direction and then changing it based on how his opponent responds. So it's just little things like that these players have been evolving in. And I think it's just so marvelous to see that the competition and the level of these players is just improving so much. We see P-Shields now making their way out in the field, by the way.
By both players.
Yeah.
Very, very close.
Yeah, this is
very close.
This is so mirror. So I think we've just entered the mid game. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
So where do we go from now? Because clearly the P-Shields don't change a whole lot. They will just keep shelling each other. And unless they get a lucky connection, it's not really going to change. So what's the game plan here?
Well, I think both players are about to have the same number of factories. I think that at this point it's really going to come down to tech. And neither player's built a research station yet. I think tech choices are really what's going to determine the outcome of the mid game. If one player goes Fat Boys and the other one decides to go, the speed booster, I don't know, whatever else. I think that's really what's going to make the difference here. We do see that MauganRa is pumping out a whole bunch of energy generators in the bottom right corner here, so that usually tells me that some sort of experimental is probably on the way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess it could be energy boost or the speed boost too, but that's pretty rare, I would say.
I kind of doubt that either player is going to go for that right now, just because it's more effective with tanks and not as effective with the artillery because they still take a while to fire.
I don't think Hope will go for it for sure because he kind of locked himself into this bottom area here. But MauganRa can actually split a little bit of his force and maybe boost up top. So I think if we do see somebody do that, it would be MauganRa. But I think, what would you say? So you listed, I think, 3 options. What option would you say is the safest to go for here after the P-Shields?
I think it probably depends on which side of the map you're on. Hope is opting to go for micro focus with more land factories, and I think I like that because it does seem like MauganRa's blob is a little bit bigger, and Hope has more front line to defend. MauganRa, on the other hand, is going for a research station, and I would probably say MauganRa would be better off with a Fat Boy because like he could spread Fat Boys out along the front line and then move his micro units in front of them, and just use them to shell the army from afar while he dodges the micro artillery. So, because MauganRa has this extra space to deal with, I think Fat Boys would be better.
Yeah, I actually agree. Yeah, that's a beautiful assessment there. And now MauganRa continues to be ahead on the mass expansion. If you look at the map, he's now down to where Hope is on the opposite side of the map. And he's very clearly ahead on the economy. So again, unless there's a lucky connection by either one of these players, I think MauganRa is setting up a very nice endgame for himself here. But you can never count out Hope because he's known to do something very cheeky, something very smart and clever. And that can also end a game very quickly. Oh, that's a nice connection. Got one tank, one demolisher. And it's so hard to see. You know,
so much going on there.
Foxtermelon, who's probably doing one of the most craziest, most stable plays in this SCS, has said that he struggles the most with UEF artillery because they're so hard to see. And I will say this map is absolutely killer for that because you cannot see those shells over the sand here.
It is pretty tough.
So much missiles. Jeez. This is like the DMV here. Wait, not DMV. What is it called? DMZ, not DMV. Although DMV would work too. DMVs are pretty rough. Oh, that's a nice connection from Hope. That might actually be a very significant one. Let's see if he decides to press his advantage here for the time being. It's a lot of mobile missile launchers that are connecting with the shields, and that's what's making the difference here. I don't think MauganRa has quite as many. All right, what is MauganRa doing here? Let's do a factory count really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Both are on 9 factories.
Well, one part of my prediction did come true, which is we've got some close games here.
Yeah, for sure. And MauganRa is doing actually very impressive. I actually would not have suspected. Oh no, these shots are looking okay. Thank God he turns. I would not have picked Hope to pick UEF on this map. I thought he was gonna go Cybern for sure. The chat is calling for jackhammers.
Jackhammers would be awesome.
Oh, nice connection from MauganRa now. A little bit of miss micro from Hope.
All those P shields coming back online though is going to keep the rest of these units safe.
And I'm just liking MauganRa's position more and more here because he's getting so much research now, and he's still on top of his economy. Let's see if he catches this engineer coming up top. Let's see if he's paying attention. Any move like that. Oh, there we go. Any small move like that though is super hard to catch when you're microing so intensely in the center. So let's see if MauganRa catches this. He has not so far, which means he's not looking. Oh boy. Oh, he got it. He sees it. He sees it. And gonna capture the engineer. Hope is not responding. And that's gonna be a captured engineer. Very nicely done from MauganRa. His awareness is so good. So good.
Second gantry going down as well.
And it looks like Hope is prioritizing factories still. So that's, like I said, MauganRa is looking good for the end game here. Unless there's a good connection from Hope, which can always happen, especially when you're starting microing experimentals. That is a very big possibility, and the danger just rises exponentially. So this is where MauganRa is going to basically elevate himself to the next level. Is if he's able to micro all of these armies and all these experimentals. I think he's switching to mostly P shields now, which is, I think, a smart decision. I think, what do you think, P shield, MML composition? No more demolishers when you have Fad Boys?
I think you still want to mix in a few demolishers here and there, because you want to have something that can defend those Fat Boys if the enemy army gets close.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's when you start considering not jump jets, but the boosters. Okay, Hope might have caught MauganRa microing at the bottom of the map, but no, MauganRa responds. Very nicely done. These players are so close.
Yeah, and then both players doing exactly the same thing in the corners, throwing down factories and trying to get some MMLs out.
All right, this Fat Boy is going to fire his first shell here. No, it's not. He's just veering it into a little bit of a better position. Now it's going to definitely fire his first shot. And now Hope knows. Let's see what Hope does in response here. MauganRa's shields are down. God, they regenerate so quickly. This is why I hate P shields. You remember our game, our 2v2 tournament game?
Oh, I absolutely do.
That was a long time ago, folks. All right, Hope is pushing in here. It's very dangerous here. Still,
but it is kind of unavoidable.
Yeah.
He's got to do something before more Fat Boys pop out, and then he's just gonna get killed by crossfire.
God, this is so many P shields. Oh my God, MauganRa is not really microing too well, I would say here. He's kind of in the same place. Wow, what is going on? That poor Demolisher got demolished. Get a taste of your own medicine, bitch!
Second Fat Boy out now.
This is such a crazy game. I'm so sad that only 7 of you are able to witness this. Oh man, that might be a really bad connection. Oh my God, those shields regenerate just in time for MauganRa. Oh man, he's not... See, this is what I mean. Now that he has experimentals, it's harder to micro his main army as well. And his rally point got messed up there. He did not combine his armies there. Hope's shields are slowly going down, though.
He loses a factory.
Oh boy, fuck. That's not good.
Well, that was probably some really good target fire by those on those MMLs by Hope. And we missed it in the shuffle there, I think, but...
Yeah. I think those Fat Boys should probably prioritize the structures now. They're not going to take down those shields. It might be worthwhile to just take down the production over here. Move one of them over there to the left. Do the same thing that Hope's doing, only on an experimental scale. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a misplay from MauganRa right now. Prioritizing on those on that army. Slowly beginning to get outproduced with his factories too. And look at this at the corner, at the top left corner and the bottom right corner. They're kind of doing the same thing to each other. Super interesting.
Yeah, those factories were built right around the same time. We also see a gantry going down for Hope now.
Oh, damn.
I don't know how that's going to play out.
Well,
will there be enough time?
If MauganRa sends his Fat Boys to actually take care of some of these structures, that's actually pretty bad for Hope, I would say. But right now, the way that MauganRa is using his Fat Boys is not very efficient. Although he's starting to break through shields, a good amount of Hope's army has gone down. Hope is retreating now, and it's MauganRa who's on the upper hand here. More shells connecting with the shields, but there's just so many shields. MauganRa keeps walking into MML fire. That's what the issue is here. That's why his shields fall down so quickly. Oof. Wow. Those shields just regenerated at the last possible second. That is so crazy. Come on, MauganRa. You can micro better than this. Use those fat boys. Don't clump them like that. You gotta have them at least in line. There you go. But that, oh man, that fat boy is dangerously fast.
Ooh,
Boost. What the fuck is happening in this game? Ah!
When you zoom out, the middle of the map is just like a wash of yellow.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, Powderhorn Mesa produces just some fucking crazy games, dude. I think one of the best games I've casted in SCS came from Vanity versus Unknown, or I don't remember who Vanity was playing. But it was also a UEF mirror that went to King Cryptors.
We now have fortified artillery making an appearance.
Where? Oh
Hope
shit!
built it.
What? What is this game?
But I don't know if I've ever really seen fortified artillery in a serious game.
It happens sometimes, but it is very rare, you're right. MauganRa now realizing this. Let's see what he chooses to do here. Oh my god, this is insanity. MauganRa could have used his fat boys to such good effect here. One of his fat boys is just sitting. And I'm not sure what he's doing because he's not microing the main army anymore because they've kind of split apart.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, with all this open space that MauganRa has control of, those fat boys should be attacking all along the front line.
By the way, MauganRa researched mech guns, so he's also going structures.
Is this going to turn into a turtle war?
You know, that would be very epic. I won't lie. That would be pretty cool. I don't even
know,
care
Hope
if it's...
Hope is losing a lot of stuff on the left-hand side of the map, though. There's a pretty good-sized blob of mobile missile launchers moving in.
Yeah, well, the problem is that still, MauganRa clearly has the advantage right now, but he's not using those fat boys. They're just sitting there. They're not even firing on the main army anymore. It's like he's doing something else completely on the map. He's taking his ACU to the top. What do you think that's for?
Keep it safe, build an air army? I don't know. AC-1Ks?
You know, that actually would not be a bad idea at this point.
It's kind of the logical next step.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you go for disruptors, but I don't think those are going to be a good move here.
Okay, MauganRa, you need to send your fat boys forward. Finally takes out one factory. Holy shit, that took a sweet time.
Well, it would have been faster if the game simulation speed was a little bit higher.
True.
Lots and lots of shields means lots of stuff for the game to calculate.
Yeah, but it's also... I think they would have made way more mistakes if it was on fast.
Oh, of course.
Alright, MauganRa, come on, man. You have to start using your fat boys. Jeez Louise. Ooh, that fat boy is actually exposed here. Not enough fire, though, connecting with it.
Yeah, it's still partially under shields, too.
Okay, he could have set up such a nice concave here.
I mean, he has a nice concave set up. He's just not pushing on the edges.
75% of his fat boys are not firing right now.
Yeah, it's set up. It's just not in position.
Yeah. Oh, man. This is very interesting, though. This is still very, very close.
I mean, the longer the game goes, the more it favors MauganRa because Hope is losing resources.
Well, they're both losing resources right now.
Hope's losing more, I think.
The problem is I think the longer this game goes, the more it favors Hope, I think, because of his kind of like experience and cheeky play.
Okay, but he's still going to have a hard time continuing to produce units if he loses the rest of his economy.
Yeah. Jackhammer. Oh shit, I missed that. Man, this game is bonkers. This game is bonkers, everybody. Shout bonkers in chat if you think it's bonkers. Finally, that took a while. 3 fat boys finally start taking out the main base.
Yeah, that did take too long, but at the same time, I'm not sure what else Hope can really do to push back this advance right now.
Hope is going to get pushed back into a corner. Oh, that might be a miss micro from MauganRa. Jackhammer connecting. You know, Jackhammers actually become a liability almost in a composition such as this because they're stationary when they fire. But this still favors MauganRa because Hope is just backed into a corner here.
Yeah, and more I'm seeing moments where just about all of Hope's shields are down.
Oh, that fat boy's gonna go down. That fat boy is gonna go down. The shields are broken. MauganRa might have just broken through, taking down a factory as well. Shields are barely regenerating from Hope anymore. Hope is boosting. This is, I think, his last hurrah here. MauganRa realizing this.
Pretty loud hurrah.
Yeah, shields are still going down. MauganRa is responding. A lot of Hope's land is going down as we're getting freezes, which are quite understandable. There's so much happening right now. And Hope's army is just slowly melting away. That jackhammer is actually going to tank quite a bit of damage. It has quite a bit of health. 45,000 to be exact. That's ridiculous. And I think MauganRa might have done it.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's done.
MauganRa has done it, even though he loses his jackhammer, but at the price of whole Hope's army.
And Hope is building a line of radar and GG's.
What an incredible game. Holy crap. Powderhorn Mesa never stops surprising. Very well played by both players. I think MauganRa could have won this sooner, but I think it's understandable that both players were having a little bit of nerves here and, you know, played a little bit more cautiously and defensively. Kudos to MauganRa. That was a wonderful game, very solidly executed. Could have probably capitalized on a few more opportunities, but overall, very well played. Spiff, what have been your thoughts for this series?
I got exactly what I wanted. A couple of longer games that were really close. I just love watching the top players face off.
Yeah, for sure. And I think both of us were wrong in our predictions. MauganRa has surprised us. MauganRa clearly has been practicing quite a bit with something different, so he brought back the interesting plays that he's known for and that I've seen him do earlier in the year, but kind of stagnated in the middle there. But very well played, and who would have thought? You know, if you asked me who I think would be in the final of this playoff, I think it would be Osmos and Hope, which is completely the opposite here. But MauganRa and Iron Commander have quite a bit of history. What are your thoughts about that match? I know they're not going to play for a while, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the two of these have for us. Both of them are, as we've seen, very good with UEF. So maybe we'll see another mirror match that gets kind of crazy. Although Iron Commander is very good with Cybern as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see that. They both have kind of a similar-ish style in terms of their openers. They tend to go a little bit more eco-focused, and I like that a lot for those longer games with a lot of the back and forth. Yeah,
for sure. I wonder if MauganRa continues picking UEF, or he's going to go back to his Aeon that he does well. So that's going to be very interesting against Iron Commander. But I think it kind of favors him that it's Iron Commander, because Iron Commander, again, is Cybern, and he just plays Cybern. One of the best Cyberns, I would say. So very interesting final setup for us, one that I surely have not predicted, but it's so important for both well, actually not for MauganRa, but for Iron Commander, it's very important to win that final, because for him it will mean he's going to qualify for the Invitational Tournament, which is super, super important. And also it means that MauganRa has stolen another place from everybody else, which means we have less places to qualify from by points. So it is even more crucial for Iron Commander to take that win. Whenever it's going to be happening, we're going to schedule that game this week, and I don't know when we're going to cast it, but for sure keep an eye out on our Discords. You will be informed, and we hope that we have a very, very crazy game between Iron Commander and MauganRa. This has been Night of Misfortune and Spiff. Spiff, any last words?
Good games, and congratulations to both of the winners, and thanks for playing to both of those who will not be advancing. It was great to see you guys out there, and looking forward to some. There's another season coming up, right?
Not this year. I don't know if I'm going to be doing them this next year, but if you do want this stuff next year, if enough of you say, ask me for it, I am inclined to oblige. The main problem with our community is that there's not enough interest in things, so yeah, let me know.
Well, yeah, you heard it. If you want to get involved, if you want to play in some of these great games, let Nite know, and if he gets feedback, then we'll have some more of these to show you later this year and into next year.
Absolutely. Well, for now, we are not done with the SCS 2020. We have plenty of stuff to come, the finals of the season included. Of course, the Serpents Open Fall, which you still can register for, so please check that out. And of course, the Invitational, which is going to be absolutely bonkers. I think MauganRa has just proven to be a wild card in that mix, so it's going to be super interesting how he performs alongside with everybody else in that tournament. Super excited for the end of the year. Hope you guys are too. I hope you've enjoyed this cast, and we will see you very, very soon.